Made by and for the students. Our purpose is to educate our members to become engaged citizens that actively participate in local and state politics. For too long have our voices been silenced in the decision-making process behind educational reforms. As future voters, it is now time for the students of Newark to stand up for their rights to an education that prioritizes their future, not the future of a political campaign or corporate interests. On March 7, 2013, we were able to bring together almost 200 students from across the city of Newark, indicating that our students are politically conscious and willing to push back policies that effectively marginalize us and denies us our constitutional right to a thorough and efficient education. Since then, our membership pool has only grown, and so has our support base with every event that we participate in. Today, the students of Newark are here to tell you that enough is enough. This walkout was not an impulsive decision, but rather a well-thought-out plan to finally show that we are not invisible. We are no longer silenced, and we are not complacent. We are here to take back what the law owes us and what Christie continues to try to take away from us, our budget. There are currently 31 Abbott school districts in the state of New Jersey that receive funding to maintain and support school children in urban communities. State aid comes from New Jersey's income tax that eases the burden regressive property taxes can place on low and middle income families. Under the ruling of Abbott versus Burke, a court case filed by the Education Law Center in 1985, it was asserted that the public primary and secondary education in urban communities throughout the state was unconstitutionally substandard and mandated state funding for these schools. Improvement in facilities, standard-based education, and supplemental programs were guaranteed under that mandate. The funding under this ruling is necessary to keep urban communities at the same pace as wealthier communities that can afford to invest in their children's education. The proposed funding formula is flat, giving Newark Public Schools only $714 million in comparison to the $766.1 million that is supposed to be given if it were in accordance to the ruling passed in 2008. Christie has repeatedly made the claim that he wants to take funding away from urban schools by reducing the level for state aid for special needs students, which includes English learning students, children with disabilities, and low-income earning children, and by also punishing schools that do not have a high attendance rate. This is causing a $51.8 million gap that is hurting our public schools. We are losing teachers that are critical to our intellectual growth, cutting extracurricular programs that keep kids off the street, and increasing class sizes, which takes away from individual student development. Legislatures have already rejected these cuts, yet Christie is ignoring the ruling and passing this budget that disproportionately affects urban communities. Not only are these in action of the state, but also from our own superintendent, Cami Anderson. Newark Public School faces a budget gap of approximately $56.9 million, resulting from the decline in state aid and the projected cost increases from charter schools. In total, high schools in Newark are losing $8,913,934. That is a 6.8% decrease from the fiscal year 2013. In order to remain in accordance to the law, the Newark Public Schools, we have to fund schools that are struggling in order to see improvement, not let them be destroyed. If the state were to give back what they owe us, this budget gap could be almost completely filled. We have the resources to improve funding for not only Newark students, but for schools across the state. Governor Christie has cut taxes for the highest income earning people, losing hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue for schools. That same year we lost that revenue, state aid was cut by $1.2 billion. In order to benefit the richest 1%, we are literally putting the future of students across New Jersey at risk. The legislators are our last recourse because there is no democratic process that we students can undergo to create changes in the budget since we do not have local controls of our schools. Your job is to guarantee that state aid is at the level that the court mandates it be for urban schools. That means that it is your job to reject Christie's proposal and raise taxes on New Jersey's wealthiest individuals. Look outside and you will see at least 500 students who realize that change is in their hands and that change is possible. So it is your job to work with us to make that a reality. So it is your job to vote no to Christie's budget proposal.